This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome back to Chapter 2 of our series, Conquering Jet Lag. In today's episode, titled Pre-Travel Preparations, Setting Yourself Up for Success, we're going to explore some practical strategies to help you adjust your sleep schedule before you take off. Get ready to learn how to set yourself up for a smoother journey and a more refreshed arrival. Let's dive in. Mid-flight, your body still thinks it's yesterday. Your stomach's on home time, your brain's on local time, and your immune system is quietly negotiating with every cough in the cabin. Here's the twist. The real fix starts days before you step on the plane. Most travelers prep their inbox and itineraries, then leave their bodies to wing it. That's backwards. In the 72 hours before you fly, 3 levers quietly decide whether you land sharp or wrecked: your internal clock, your blood sugar and hydration, and how primed your defenses are for that metal tube of shared air. Here's where it gets interesting. Research shows that syncing these systems before departure can shrink jet lag symptoms by up to half and buy you back 1 to 2 functional days at your destination. Instead of losing your first meetings or your first museum day to brain fog and exhaustion, you can treat the flight as a controlled transition. Think of this phase as pre-travel calibration, small, targeted shifts in sleep timing, nutrients, and fluids that line your body up with where you're going, not where you're leaving. Most people only start fixing their energy once they're already wiped out at the gate, grabbing coffee, comfort food, and whatever's glowing in the fridge. A better approach is to treat the days before departure as a quiet rehearsal. You're not overhauling your life, you're nudging key habits so travel day feels like a continuation, not an ambush. That means looking at when you move, when you eat, and how you wind down at night. These small, boring choices, what you put on your plate, when you dim the lights, how often you reach for water, quietly tilt the odds toward arriving clear instead of scrambled. Most people underestimate how much lead time their body needs. A rough rule: for every hour of time zone shift, you're looking at about a day of passive adjustment. The goal in the days before you fly isn't perfection, it's to steal back some of that adjustment so it doesn't all land on day 1 of your trip. Start with sleep extension. In the Stanford data, adding about 90 minutes of sleep per night for 5 consecutive nights significantly blunted next-day jet lag scores. That doesn't mean you need to overhaul your nights forever. You're treating the week before travel like a short training block. Go to bed earlier rather than sleeping in, so you're not drifting your wake time later and later. Protect that extra time by cutting late screens, heavy late-night work, and just one more episode creep. Next, use food as a timing cue instead of a comfort crutch. 2 to 3 hours before your planned bedtime, a small meal anchored in slow-digesting carbohydrates plus 20 to 30 grams of protein can quietly support better hormone patterns overnight. Think: oats with Greek yogurt, lentils with a boiled egg, or quinoa with tofu. You're not eating more overall, you're redistributing when you eat and what you eat late, away from sugary hits or huge, greasy dinners that fragment sleep. Hydration needs its own plan, because cabin air can dip below 10% humidity, drier than many deserts. Waiting to catch up on the plane means starting in a deficit. A simple target: across your travel day, aim to drink at least 2% of your body weight in water, about 1.4 liters for a 70 kilograms person, front-loaded before you board, and then sipped steadily in flight. Add a pinch of salt or an electrolyte tab once or twice. This keeps that fluid where you want it instead of just increasing bathroom breaks. Finally, caffeine and alcohol are levers, not treats. Caffeine anchored to the destination morning and avoided after their local noon helps your clock shift. Alcohol does the opposite, fragmenting sleep and drying you out further. Treat both as tools you schedule, not impulses you follow. Think of your final 72 hours pre-flight as a series of small rehearsal scenes, each one nudging your body closer to where you're going. Start by syncing your light exposure to your destination. Flying east? 2 to 3 days out, step outside earlier, even for a 15-minute walk, and dim indoor lights an hour sooner than usual. Heading west? Do the opposite. Push bright light and outdoor time slightly later to stretch the evening. Layer movement on top of that. Rather than a single hard workout, scatter brief, intentional activity across the day. A 10-minute brisk walk after meals, a short mobility session before bed, a few bodyweight exercises between meetings. These microbursts act like timestamps, telling your body, this is when we're active here. On travel day, treat the airport like a moving walkway you actually use. Walk the long way to your gate, stand while waiting to board, and do subtle calf raises or ankle circles in line. These aren't workouts, they're breadcrumbs, quietly leading your system toward the new schedule. By 2035, pre-travel prep may feel more like checking in with a co-pilot than guessing your way through a red-eye. Wearables could quietly learn how you adapt, then script light, movement, and meals like cues in a stage play, nudging you toward local time before you even zip your suitcase. Airlines might tier tickets not just by seat size, but by how finely they protect your alertness. HR teams could view sloppy scheduling the way they now view skipping security training, a preventable risk. Think of this prep as building a personal arrival runway. Each small choice, when you move, when you dim lights, what you sip, adds another guiding light toward feeling human when you land. Your challenge this week. For your next trip, pick one lever to upgrade, light, movement, or drinks, and treat the journey as a live experiment in how quickly you can feel at home. This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. This series continues with more chapters on OwlUp.co. Visit OwlUp.co to access the complete course and continue your learning journey. See you there!